Hello, Scorpio. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're well. There's a lot to talk about today. It's been a busy morning, and I'm sure a lot of you have kind of felt that energy of dreaming. I saw that in chat. A lot coming through, and we're going to navigate together all of the energy of the month of September. But as is the case with all of my live readings, a lot of this may resonate right here and right now because that tends to happen as we look at the past and the deep past here. So it'll be about a 6-week forecast that we'll be looking at. I'm going to put Apollo down here so we can get started. And I would like to welcome everyone, whether this is your first time or if you're a regular follower. It's always great to see everyone who shows up. You help really make the energy here something that is great for me to participate in, and I like to kind of empower you. A couple things to note. My reading style is a little bit different than a lot of folks out there. I like to really put a focus on clairvoyant information at the beginning. So we'll have 4 major parts, and I'll give you a quick glance down. I spend some time, about an hour or so before we get started, where I channel all of the energy that I've been receiving, all the messages that I've been receiving over the past few days. So we'll talk about a psychic download first. Then I'll use Celtic Cross to develop some of these thoughts a little bit more clearly, and it shows you what's available to you in the month ahead. Your free will is always part of this, so I'm trying to empower you and show you a blueprint, and you can decide where you want to fill it in, what do you want to do, etc. After we look at the Celtic Cross, we'll go into health, wealth, love, and destiny. That way, the Celtic Cross can be very organic and show whatever it needs to, but I can still highlight all those areas that I know that you care about. And then finally, after a quick review, we'll go into something a little bit deeper that I call the soul path. And the soul path sets you up for the remainder of this year. And it can also go a little deeper into some of the topics that we see here. So rather than just sort of highlighting something, there's a chance to maybe resolve an issue that comes forth. So as you can tell, it's a nice kind of deep dive into everything, just enough of I think, each and every part of what's available to give you what you need for the month ahead. We end everything with a sound bath and a meditation. That's a great form of integration for all of that. So that's what's in store for everybody today. Just a quick note. One other thing that I do slightly differently is I encourage super chat, but I don't do Q&A. I know that there are a lot of folks out there that will sort of like allow people to ask a question, pay for that. And to me, that takes me out of the flow. So this is a general forecast where I've received very specific pieces of information. So if you just want to support what I'm doing, feel free to use Super Chat, but I'm not going to answer questions as I go along. So this is the Super Chat icon. You can send a sticker. You can send support through that. It helps me continue to buy cards and to set up the time to do what I do. And a lot of you are also members either on Patreon or here on YouTube. And that's another way to give back if you like what you see. Thanks to Ryan and Maria who helped me moderate. They're here to kind of answer high-level questions. So thanks, guys. With that being said, let's get started. As I said, I receive a lot of information through combination for me of dreams and meditation, and then also through automatic writing. For me, automatic writing is the medium through which I can kind of clarify it. And a lot of times I'll have to write it 2 or 3 times before it feels right. So that's kind of how that works for me. I've talked about the power of journaling in almost every sign this month. Writing is a very sort of sacred skill that we've had. I've had a past life flashback where I was a monk, and I could just see how much I loved the art of writing. So if you've never kind of taken some time to write things down, it's a great way to connect with the third eye. So you could look at a tarot card, meditate on it, and sort of write what comes to you. Your first message this month was about the power, speaking about magic, the power of dreams. And I fully believe and have experienced the sort of cosmically powerful energy within dreams. I think that they help us get into our sort of most instinctual side, our sort of earliest memories as being human. I think that we go back to being able to connect with our dreams. They helped us kind of come up with new inventions. They helped us look at the stars and figure out like, what's up there. Sometimes it's the dreams and the stories that will then inspire the science and the technology. So we're nowhere without our dreams. I also believe that dreams and thoughts create matter in your life. They can attract really positive experiences. They can also attract situations, energies, and things that kind of test your fears or test your uncertainties. So why not go into the alchemical side of this and think, I'm going to really start to build something amazing. So let me just kind of review what we're talking about here. Dreams and thoughts are magic. They help us connect with our inner alchemist. In doing so, this imbues hope and possibilities into your life. And you want to take these like seeds, or I received a vision of almost having like chess pieces, and I want you to carry them with you always. Kind of going into the mind of a chess player, and I have no idea how chess works. I don't play that game, but there's strategy, and the universe is sort of waiting for you to make that move. So you're the one that's moving the pieces. You decide what you want to do, where it's going to go, etc. And there's an active energy with this that I think sometimes people think a dream is enough, but you have to have the dream and then take action or move, strategize, and figure it out. Sometimes there's a checkmate and it doesn't work. You reset the board and you try again. And this is about persistence, basically, and perseverance. If you starve your dreams, you starve your opportunities. They start to go away. Feed the dream, not the fear, not the anxiety, not the feeling of failure or defeat. The dream will sustain, the dream will lift you up, and it will kind of help you see things. My intuitive side is very, very awake during dream state. And a lot of times always, I can tell the difference between a random dream, which is just a mental download and a clearing of the sort of cobwebs, and a clairvoyant one because of how real it feels and how distinct and how very, very detailed all of the things are. I can also identify if it's about me or not. I was receiving a lot of energy about you last night. I want to talk about the first one because I believe I can save you some trouble. A lot of these are going around communication, but the first one was about maybe not saying something. I saw kind of some whispering going on, and someone was trying to get advice or trying to kind of pick at your brain a little bit to figure something out. And even though you looked around, once you said it, the person that you were talking about or the group that was kind of being mentioned heard. And so I want you to be mindful of sensitive conversations this month in particular, because there is a high likelihood that if you're not careful, this could get back to the source, or it could get back to the person that you're kind of talking about. You don't really want that to happen. I think a good rule of thumb when it comes to things like this, you want to think of it this way. If someone could get hurt by something that you're saying, you shouldn't say it. Probably is a better thing that you can do. There's a better course of action. If you've agreed to not disclose something, you've literally signed like a non-disclosure agreement, then assume that if you say something, you'll be revealed as being the source, and that's not good either. And if there's something that is sensitive, you really need to make sure that you're being constructive about the way that you go about it, that you assume that it's kind of like you're saying it on Twitter, for instance, that the whole world can see it. So that way, when you communicate, you're doing so with transparency, without any sort of heavy burden, and with the mind that if your brother, sister, mother, boss, friend, etc., neighbor heard this, it wouldn't be a big deal. That should be the filter that you're using for these difficult conversations, assuming that this could be shared with others. So whether it's a Zoom call, a conference call, an email, a text, a phone call, a conversation in the hallway, or just talking even in your own apartment, assume that someone could hear on the other side of the door, that there might be a recording somewhere. And that's going to help save you some trouble, because I felt energetically how much regret there was the minute the person turned around and saw you saying that. And it didn't make any sense because it had nothing to do with anything going on in my life. But it felt very real, and I woke up feeling bad, and I thought, okay, this didn't happen to me. It's about the sign that I'm reading for this month. So I'll take the same advice in my life too, though, because I'm a channel. And so when it comes through me, there's also just a general warning that I'll embrace too. So everybody that's listening to this, just be mindful of how you communicate, whom you're communicating with, and who might be actually hearing this, and just assume that everyone will. So if you can't say it, don't. And maybe there's a better way to help. Maybe non-verbally you can do something. Okay. So be mindful of sensitive conversations, and assume that what you're saying will get back to the source, actually could be everywhere. I think that's a good way to kind of live your life. If you ever are saying something, whether it's critical or meant to be a joke or it's just a comment, and you have to edit or you have to look over your shoulder, you shouldn't be saying it. It's not right. So find a better better way to state it, or don't say it. Now, speaking about communication, your power this month would be in your directness. If you can be direct and be constructive, then you are powerful and effective. I always try to I write these if I can in the way of sort of like what to do, not what not to do. So even when I wrote this, it was sort of like be mindful and assume that things will get back to others. Because if you are empowering yourself that way, like I'm not going to say, or I'm going to only say things that are helpful, or that it's okay if they're revealed, it's better. So I tried to take the not out if I can. But in this one, it was important to say it. If there's somebody in your life and you want to sort of test the way that they feel, this probably isn't the best month to do it. Some examples of this, and I'll show the card again in a second, is let's assume that you want a raise at work and you threaten to quit. That's not necessarily going to get you where your boss may just say, you can quit if you want. It would be more effective for you to maybe already have an option that you would be willing to take, to talk to your boss then and say, I value the time that I've spent here. I think you enjoy having me here. I've been given an opportunity that is really appealing, but given the loyalty that I have to this place, I wanted to open up an opportunity for both of us to talk about, is there any chance for me to stay? I'd really like to stay. That's better than an ultimatum. That's saying I have an opportunity, but I want to see how you feel. And even really saying it, not just threatening to quit. In a relationship, it's a little bit of an easier example here. So you could, instead of like breaking up with someone to see if they try to get you to stay, you could instead say, I feel like we're not talking, or you're working a lot. I feel like there's a disconnect. Could we spend some time together tonight? I would just like to see how you're doing, to just talk about some stuff. Like, we need to spend time together. I feel like we're drifting apart. That's a more constructive and a more direct way than saying, well, it feels like you don't want to be with me, so maybe we should break up. Because the other person may only hear maybe we should break up, and what they've kind of latched onto is that you doubt them and that you don't want to be with them. So a Beatles song came in, and I don't know why, because I really didn't listen to this growing up, but I kind of heard "we can work it out" as the mantra here. So if you go into it with a proactive and positive approach, saying, we've been through worse things in our life. Like, I feel like this has just been a tough couple weeks. Let's take tonight for the sake of our relationship and really just be together. Whatever. That's how you would go about it, rather than ultimatums or threats or tests. It won't work out the way you think it's going to work out. So be direct, avoid testing someone. Go in with a mentality of positive outcome. Say, I know we can do this. How do you want to work it out? That's even a better way. You're not even giving them a chance of not working it out. How would you like to improve things? Because I'm open to it. I want to hear what's working for you and what's not, so that we can make this work. And then if for some reason you just feel like there's a standstill, maybe it is like that work example that I talked about, or it could be a toxic relationship for those of you that might be in school, retired, or not working. There could be some other situation in your life where you just feel like you need to have some sense of distance from it. Don't walk away. That was something that I also felt regret when I was looking in dreams and meditation. It felt like if you just walked away, that the door was shut. That's what my guides were showing me, so that you wouldn't be able to open it up again. So this isn't a time for playing things out. No drama this month when it comes to that. Talk it out and be direct and figure out how to work through it. And then if you're going to leave with a sense of grace and dignity and having positive closure, just saying, well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for hearing me out. I wish you the best. And that's it. And that will help you feel like I can handle this and I can move forward and I'm not regretting all of this. And you won't be kind of beating yourself up for trying to say something. A lot of times I just have to explore an opportunity. For some of you, you may know that there's going to be rejection, but you need to at least give yourself a chance to say those words and see what that person will say as well. So if that's what you want to do as well, that's fine. But just try to keep everything elevated, not too emotional, and no testing. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Now let's take a look at, this was a very interesting thing that I was seeing. And I'm going to try to kind of state this in the best way possible. So I feel like some of us right now are being pushed into doing what we need to do because there are no choices, right? So for some of you, that could mean that your normal career opportunities have kind of fallen apart, or that they're not what they used to be. So you're looking at doing something that maybe you didn't have the training for, or it wasn't where you pictured yourself being. And if you're going for an interview or you're having a conversation, or even if you're hiring people, for those of you that are kind of, I'll put this in a work context first. Sometimes it's hard to get excited about that stuff, right? Because you keep thinking, this is just for now, or this is just until things get back to normal. This isn't me. I was talking yesterday about a line in Stardust where the main character was basically reminded and sometimes even said, like, I'm not my job, I'm not my career, I'm not a shop boy in that case, I just work there. So while that is true, when you're getting hired or when you're at that place of work, you still want to do your best. And that was a piece that I didn't incorporate into yesterday's reading that I'm bringing into yours. And you guys are really close, Libra and Scorpio, right on the cusp of each other. So this message has a little bit of overlap. But for you, the message is do your best, whatever you're doing, because you don't actually know how this moment in time will play out in the blueprint of your life. I've had multiple things in my life where I took a job that I didn't like. Maybe it was a 6 or 8 month gig. And then I thought, what a waste of time that was. Fast forward like 4 years later, and that helped me land a job because of my experience in that. And I realized in retrospect, there were no accidents. And it was good that I did a good job. I wish that I'd even done a better job. And what I now try to do is every time I show up to work, I try to just give 100% or 110%. And it's because at the end of the day, people's impressions and the work product that you've created and the energy that you've kind of put out there, that's you. That's sort of like your autobiography up in the Akashic records. So don't do something half-hearted. Better not to do it than to show up and not do a good job. Because the people that are bringing you into these opportunities, they really need help. They're not looking for someone that's disconnected. So you know it's a temporary stay. It's a moment in time. Make the most of it and keep that dream that I was talking about in your third eye, in your heart, in your energy. Keep working for that next thing to happen. But understand that what you're doing now is helping to feed it in a weird way. If it is impeding with it, then that's a different case altogether. But again, better not to do something that makes you angry, sad, or that you can't give some sort of energy. You've got to show up. You have to be at least giving like 80% or something for that other person not to be sort of cheated out of the help that they need. Value your time, value others, always give 100% if you can. You never know how it's going to factor out. So here we go. Prepare for everything. Because what I saw for some of you is that you might just sort of be phoning it in. And when I say that, I mean like showing up and not having done the homework about the position, the job, the opportunity. The other person is going to sense that and may not want you. Or if they bring you on, they're not going to take you seriously, and you may not get the opportunities of growth that you might have otherwise gotten. And so yeah, it's like your respect for them will actually come back for them respecting you. It's reciprocal. And again, you never know how this is going to factor out. You might be an intern today, but like 10 years down the line, that internship will be something that you talk about, or you're going to meet someone that remembered you as an intern. You don't want their impression of you to be like, oh yeah, you're the one that slacked off and never came to work. You want them to be the one that thinks, my God, you did all of that. You got our coffee and you also did an amazing job on that presentation, etc. Yeah, your reputation is hard to rebuild. So if you want to kind of continue to build it well. For those of you that aren't working, again, this has to do with whatever opportunities are presented to you or whatever kind of things are going on in your life. If someone's counting on you, try to do your best. And if you can't, evaluate why you're doing that at all. There might be a better use of your time, and maybe they could find someone that's a little bit more engaged as well. So it could be win-win if you decide to walk away from something like that. The last piece of advice that I have is, because of this sort of socially distant world in which we all live at the moment, I think that one of the things that all signs, all people are being encouraged to do at the moment is to really be unique, singular, and kind of stand out in some way. This isn't the time to blend in. And I think that if you can, I've been talking about integration. I think we've been hitting on the power of dreams. You need to believe in what you do, own it, embrace what makes you different, and then convince other people that that's what they need. Because otherwise, it's just more of the same. You could go, everything else is a dime a dozen. So this is your chance to sort of capitalize on your unique skills and take risks that you couldn't normally take, because there's not a lot to lose, especially for those of you that might be trying to find a new job. This is a chance to reinvent yourself. So find a way to stand out, be authentic, be persistent with your goals. And remember, kind of going back to what I said at the beginning, if you feed the dreams, they grow. If you starve them, your opportunities shrink up. You are the one that's moving these chess pieces. There is no entitlement when we come on this planet. We are owed nothing. We are given opportunities. We seek out lessons, but we are owed nothing. And so it's important to realize that the work and the energy that we put out there will then help create what happens. Yes, you are given sort of like core skills and core energies that you might have worked on in the past lives. You can either kind of skate through, or you can continue to build and be sort of an alchemist and an architect and not give up. I encourage you to do the latter, because it's going to be fulfilling and you'll surprise yourself and life will never be boring. And hopefully that's what you can take away from that. You have a lot of power. Use your power wisely. Don't get discouraged. I know we're in a time right now where it's difficult because, there's not a lot of positive messages, and there's also a lot of conflicting messages. None of these are really conflicting. If you follow what I'm saying here, you'll be successful. And for those of you that watch sign by sign, there's sometimes overlap, there's sometimes development. There's always something that you can take away. You're always welcome to tune into any of these, especially the channeled messages, because the way this works is whoever's coming into the room or whoever's going to see this, I kind of pull the messages through. So it's something that could be good for any of you. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's move along now to the Celtic Cross. This will be specifically tuned for Scorpio for the month of September. As we look at the past and deep past, some of those messages will be also for here and now. So I'm going to be quiet while I pull all the cards out, but afterwards I will talk about each and every message that's coming through. Welcome again to everybody. It's good to see you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being patient as I got everything set up here. I love your first card that came through. So it was reversed, but I want to hold it in the upright position so we can talk about it a little bit. So the catalyst, which is what I call this card, functions as a connective thread that helps us understand how everything is going to work together. It also helps you stay in the highest energy of the month, and it can give you sort of advice on what to avoid to make sure that you don't get tempted or distracted. So the reversal of a hunter card to me is about not being passive, And it says track down your fears. Track down your fears and desires. So this is saying this is a great card for light work. As light workers, we don't run from shadow energy. We shine a light into it to see what's casting the shadow or what the shadow is trying to teach us. And then we try to elevate the energy. You don't try to fight it. You don't try to conquer it. You try to see what's there. And then if you need to walk away, you walk away. If there's something that needs healing, you heal it. Shadows are there to show you something, usually. And again, they may be cast by another light being or another being. So you just want to understand what's the source. Hunting is like the chess player that I was talking about. So this was like taking the piece and deciding, I'm going to move this. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to be active. Passivity is not going to work for you this month. You have to be active. You have to go after what you're doing. I'm using a deck, which is interesting. We have the same symbology here. This is the Wildwood deck, and it's exactly the same bow. These are different decks, different creators. Both of them were reversed. And when we look at arrows or swords and bows or wands in this particular deck. So when I have this in reverse, what I see for some of you is a sense of an idea that you're sitting on, or feeling like I'm too tired to do something that I want, because to me, that can be your vitality, your mental vitality, not so much your physical vitality. So I think one of the things that you're going to have to work on is a way to sort of pull your internal mantra and that tape that goes through your head into a positive space to feel like I can do this. So just imagine that you are kind of like Artemis, or this handsome hunter here that is able to go after what they want to do. You have the skills that are required to do it, and nobody's going to stop you. Even if you get pushed back a little bit, it's sort of like, I can do this. I'm not going to let that. I'm not going to let this hold me back. Realize that sometimes when you come across a block in the road, it's basically saying, it's the universe coming to you and saying, how much do you want this? Are you ready? Are you sure you still want this? It's more of a sort of question than a full-on block or a full stop. So if you answer back, yeah, I want this, I'm going to keep working. The universe, okay, I'll back down a little bit. Every time you reach a new height, there's going to be some sort of a challenge or potential block that can come through to sort of test your mettle to see how strong you are. And you're the hunter, you can do this. Stay focused. To me, the hunter reminds me also of the magician card, which is I could look at a bunch of things, but I want to aim my target on something, keep my focus too on that target so that I'm not getting distracted, okay? We have a lot of themes. There's a lot of synchronicities in your cards. Again, lots of different decks that I'm using, and I do that on purpose. So your center card is Temperance. In this particular deck, it's actually called Balance. And then we also have Finding Balance here in your health card. So both for your health and just for your overall well-being at the center of the spread, we have Temperance or Balance. We have two snakes on this too. For some of you, there could be a sense of power in union. This also reminds me a little bit of the caduceus, or sort of like the symbol for medicine. So I think for you, work-life balance is going to just be important to health, to career, and possibly getting help from others is going to be important too. The only thing that I see when I'm looking at this particular illustration that I think you want to be careful of is how wrapped up you can be in someone else's energy. Notice how these two snakes are, for now, they're kind of wrapped around each other, but I can only imagine how the snake underneath feels with that one on the top kind of like strangling it a bit. So give one another room. And this is where I think in relationships this month, whether romantic, friendship, or a career relationship, there may need to be some detangling, some space, so that both of you can have a little bit of breathing space. And you're right, they do look like dragons too. No matter what they are, there's still that energy of a power struggle. And so cooperation, and I think that's why the Beatles song, We Can Work It Out, is there. Because otherwise, I feel like when you fight fire with fire, all you have is a big fire sometimes. So let's not burn everything down. Let's try to find a way to kind of quell it a bit and bring it into a place of calm. Now, there's a couple things that I like about this Queen of Pentacles, and there's a couple things that I think we need to be careful of. So I like to call this one like the mama bear character here, but she's cool because she's not afraid to go after what she wants. She's basically embodying the energy of the hunter here that we were seeing earlier, and fighting for something that matters. A lot of times, I mean, the reason that we have a mother bear card here, or mother bear on this Queen of Pentacles, is she is the card of house and home and family. And so for some of you, protecting what you've created, like your house, maybe it is your career too, or your children, or your children can be sort of symbolic as, like, you know, pieces of art and things that you're working on. It feels like that's what's most important, the things you hold closest to your heart. And I always think those things are worth fighting for. So I like that. I also like that she's active. I don't think she's as mean as she's looking, but I certainly don't want to be in the way of her claws. So temper, right underneath, we literally have the temperance card. You have power. Sometimes it's more about what you don't say or what you don't show. So a sort of reserved energy can be more powerful than huffing and puffing and saying really loud things. And we don't have examples of that right now, because when you look at a lot of what's going on in the world, it's just who talks the loudest or who says the most outrageous thing. And that goes from entertainment to politics to sometimes even the neighbor next door. So we don't have a lot of positive examples of how to harness power and use it wisely. And I think that's your power this month. You are powerful. I've been saying that. So find a way to inspire and to lead and to fight only those battles that really deserve your attention, rather than letting people kind of poke at you and have the angry bear come out, okay? What I do like about the Queen of Pentacles is, if we take the illustration out and go into the Rider-Waite-Smith version of it, to me, this is someone who definitely can take something and make it more. So when it comes to money, you can use abundant or limited resources and bring more from that. So I don't see anything negative with that center card. So it's really good. It's a great sort of resource card to start off with. It just has to be tempered. That's why temperance was underneath it. All right, looking into the past, which for some of you, if you're watching it live, could have to do with what's going on in your life at the moment. We have to look at deep and recent past. In the deep past, we have the Six of Swords, and I'm going to pull the card upright so you can see it. So this is the journey. This is the separation. This is the feeling that I might be ready for something new. For some of you, you might have been waiting for the right moment to say it. Maybe that separation hasn't happened. That announcement is kind of queued up, but hasn't been deployed. So you're getting impatient to start your journey or to go your separate way or whatever it is. There's something that seems like it's overdue. So what I'd like you to focus on here in the live reading, and then also if you're watching this in September, is to look at your life and think, where did I miss a start? Like, you know, it's kind of like the, what is it? The gun that's fired at a race and then it was a false start. And I feel like for some of you, that's what I'm being shown anyway. You get to reset it. They usually give you a couple times before you get disqualified or something. So this is your second chance to finish that and to try to do it better this time, okay? And we're about a month ahead of a retrograde cycle, so it would be better for you to get it done now than in October. So either in August or September, I'd like you to try to deal with it so that you can have a really great end of the year. As we look at what could be kind of pulling you into this fear, not fear, but feeling that you need to move forward, we have the pole star or the star. And I love this illustration of the star card because it's actually showing you that it's almost like a combination of the Fool and the Star, that a new journey awaits, but it requires you discovering who you are, honoring who you are, and going down that path, that new path. And it may be the path less traveled here. So don't be afraid to try something new. And I think that the sort of litmus test in relationships this month, again, across the board, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or a work relationship, is, can you shine? If you look really close, the person's actually shining a little bit. You can see like there's a glow around this person. So they are the star. There's also the North Star right there, the pole star. So what I want you to look at is, can I be myself where I work, in my relationship, in my family? Am I comfortable in my own skin? If I'm not, how is anyone else going to be comfortable in kind of being in my presence? And whether this is a dragon or a snake, ostensibly for them to grow, they need to shed their skin. So I think for some of you, you're maybe tied up in something that used to feel good, that used to make sense, but may not make sense now. And so you have to kind of look at giving that person a chance to see you for who you are and see if they're willing to evolve with you or if it's time to detangle a little bit. I like what we see in the crowning position here. We have Eight of Wands, which is a card of growth, abundance, and also having more than enough. This is really great if you happen to have a business, because it shows me that for some of you, there may be a pent up interest in kind of doing business with you. We're also seeing support from the community that you don't always see in the Eight of Wands. A lot of times you would see this in Six of Wands. So if depending on where you're at if you're starting a business or going back to work or going to school, what I'm seeing with this is the community and the connections that you're building now will later translate into the work that comes to you. And this is why, as I was saying earlier, always give 100 or 110%, because you never know if one of those coworkers will be a future boss or might be a contractor that you're working with. You're going to run into these people again. Always give your best, be your best, do your best. And right now, I really like the connection of what we're seeing. We have Queen of Pentacles at the center. The star here showing me you know who you are, you know what to do, you know how to stand out. The question inherent in this card is, are you willing to walk the path? It's not easy. Not like I said earlier, nothing here is guaranteed on this planet. It requires work. This reminds me, I can't quote it, but it's like Fame, where Debbie Allen, her character's kind of hitting she has like a little stick on the ground, and she said, you know, fame requires like hard work and sweat, and this is where you're going to put it in. So she was right. Like fame and success, and also connecting with your true self, your star, your fame, that's going to require you committing to it. So my question to you, and as Apollo apparently agrees too, is, are you ready to put in the work? If you are, then some great things are coming through for you. And then we actually do have the Fool here, the Wanderer in this deck. So you can see the Fool at two different parts of the journey, right? So some of you are a little further ahead. Some of you are just getting started. Both of you need to look at the star above you, your higher self. It's almost like we're looking at two different phases in the journey, isn't it? It's kind of cool that they both came up. And so for some of you, it's time to start again. Maybe you finished a journey. Maybe you decided I need to go back and learn something else. Life is cyclical that way. We're never done. Really, we're never. Our souls are eternal. We keep coming back. We keep learning new things. We keep trying on different personas, different environments, different cultures. So the sooner you can embrace that, the sooner you can kind of have fun and realize, I'm not just the actor. I'm the writer. I'm the director. I'm the producer. I'm the audience. I'm all of it. And you can start to have your power come through. So ends and beginnings this month. And knowing that no matter even if you have to restart, now you might be able to do it understanding what you're doing. And that's the gift of age. So you make mistakes, you learn things, you're blocked sometimes, and then you think, well, it's okay. Now I know how to do it better. Now I can aim with precision and get done what I need to get done in a shorter amount of time. I write when I'm not doing this. I'm looking forward to writing the second book after I release the first one this fall. But the first one's always the hardest because you're kind of ambling around. The second one, I already know where it's going. I already have the cast of characters. It's easy. Life is the same way. This incarnation is the same way too. So the more we work, the more experience we have, the easier it is, and we can just assemble it quicker. So there you go. Two of Wands. I was talking in the dream section about holding things in your third eye and your heart. The Two of Wands typically shows a globe in front. This person is kind of at a gateway and is just sort of holding on to the fiery energy of their ideas, but nonetheless, it's there. Look at the caption there. It says decision. So are you ready? That's a question that I'll ask a lot. Are you ready? Are you ready to go forward? Do you believe in yourself? Because if you don't, no one else will. And how much do you want this? For this to happen, you need to be committed, you need to be clear, and you need to be passionate and persistent. I guess that's 4. So hold those things into your energy, and then you can be just as powerful as this sort of magician that we see in the Two of Wands here, okay? You've got great cards. I have to keep saying this. This is a really nice spread. It just requires you to embrace your power. That's all I'm kind of seeing in this. So we have the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like this has been coming up left and right this particular month. Development, you actually see here skill. For those of you that have already gone to school and you might be working on something, or you're retired and you might be deciding to try something else, this could be revisiting something that you did. Like it could be literally an arts and a craft, it could be writing, it could be teaching, it could be anything that matters to you. And this is now about the fine tuning. You don't always have to go back to school with the Eight of Pentacles. It can just be about commitment to a craft and to learning and to expanding your mind. And if you are in this energy, that's good. It's in your environment right now, which is telling me that you're sort of being called to do that. If you start to create space in your life to do some sort of great work, then you'll see that. Notice the hand on the wall, which for some of you is showing maybe you're putting your special thumbprint or your special impression on something. Could also be a helping hand that's there if you're ready for it. You need to be ready to share. So a lot of times for artists, it depends where you're at in your particular journey, but it feels like you could benefit from some insight, from some assistance, from some feedback. So there might be something really cool to kind of think about there in that respect. As we look at your hopes, fears, and opportunities, this is interesting. There's a lot of snakes in this. We have the King of Wands in reverse. So remember how I was saying kind of not getting wrapped up in things? There's a lot of snakes there. I think for you this month, there's leadership opportunities with this. If I just kind of pull the snakes out of it for a second, and that I might even put the card down because that's a lot of snakes. What I would say is you have a chance to lead by example. Whenever for me, King of Wands comes through, it's about making sure that one thing that I do like about this is that you don't get too wrapped into everyone's business. Queen of Wands is usually the one that gives me that message, but this King of Wands surely is showing the same thing. A good leader knows exactly where she or he wants to put their time and energy, with whom they need to speak, and kind of how they're going to allocate all of their time, energy, and resources. If you get in the mess like this, then not much can happen. So it would be better for you to have some space, to have some boundaries, and to really make sure that in your life, you're giving people the space they need to grow and be their best as well. You don't have to be a boss to be the King of Wands. King of Wands is about managing your life, about keeping clear in what you're trying to do, about encouraging other people to do the same. It's just about strength, power, limits, and also leadership. Now, if we look at the King of Wands in reverse, you need to make sure, again, that you're embodying what you say. Walk the walk, talk the talk, live that path that you're walking on so that others will follow you, and they will. This is a card of celebrity and exposure. This is the card of someone being interested in thinking, okay, I'm interested in who you are, what you want to sell, what you have to offer, but you have to figure that out yourself first. And I think this is why people that achieve success later in life are better, because they've sometimes also walked the walk of the fool alone and figuring stuff out and following other people and realizing, no, I've got to kindle my own flame and my own fire. And in doing so, I think once you've really figured that out, then that partnership that we see coming through in the Eight of Wands is also going to happen. This is an unusual deck, so I'm getting meanings that I wouldn't get out of these cards. And I'm also an intuitive reader, so these are not the typical readings, the typical meanings, but I am getting new things as I look at it. That's why I like different decks. There's different energies that come through. We have the Ace of Wands, as we were talking about earlier, in the reverse. Notice that the caption on this one is a spark of light, spark of life rather, and it's almost as if you're taking that and kind of creating friction or creating action. So as I said before, your thoughts carry with them energy. And I want you to not sort of underestimate the power of that energy. And if it becomes sort of like a persistent thought or song that you carry with you, then it's either going to be harmonious or discordant. It can either be something you like or something that kind of hurts your ears. And so really make it positive. Think positively and think about what you can achieve, because I think you can achieve a lot based on what we're seeing here. All that's required is that you don't get in your own way. with this bear card, acting out, talking out, acting before you speak or talking before you speak, that's actually your biggest potential pitfall this month. The second thing is following others instead of yourself. You've got to follow your own path. Others will follow you eventually. Successful people are not doing it for the masses. They kind of hit in or tap into some sort of a cosmic energy that just everybody else kind of wants a little bit more of. So trust yourself, trust your intuition. And if you do it for the right purposes, then everyone else can kind of get in on that. Okay, let's expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And when I review this, there'll be additional insights that come through. Okay. Balance twice this month came through at the center and also here in health. And we kind of see everything in this balance card. We see time, we see love, we see resources. We also see what you're going to put energy into. So I like what we see. It's basically saying, look at all the different parts of your life and make it a nice and even kind of like pie chart, slices of the cake. Don't overdo any part of this too much. If you allocate according to what you need to this month, and we even have like the inner child or your family here, then things are going to be okay. I really feel like for those of you that are feeling mental burnout, and that's kind of what the Ace of Wands in reverse is, it's time for a break. It's time for some assistance. It's time for some perspective, maybe even an internal pep talk to think like, how am I going to get through this? Why am I doing this again? Once you reset expectations, things will start to get into to a better place. Okay. Looking simply at the cards for messages around health, we have a card that's talking all about balance, and then we have a card that normally would be a stationary card, the Queen of Pentacles. So get up and stretch like this bear is. And then also looking at your mood, because that looks like one angry bear. If you are feeling a sense of frustration or defensiveness or whatever, find a way to get that out, whether it's talking to someone or exercising, etc. Walking is going to be really, really good. Getting out in nature is going to be really, really good for you this month. It doesn't have to be like a crazy aerobic exercise that you have to do. Just small activities like that can really bring a lot of perspective. Doing some research too before you make a big decision, I think this is key. Whenever I see the Eight of Pentacles, it's about making sure that you read up on something, that you talk to people, that you've done your research. That's all. Most of it's pretty good. I'm just seeing for some of you this, with the Ace of Wands in reverse, it can sometimes even come through as a migraine if you're focusing too much on something or feeling too exhausted. So do take care of your mental self. You're sort of like, it's mind, body, and spirit. It's not just your physical body. I feel like for some of you, there's a lot of stress or emotions going on. So honor that and find a way to get that taken care of. Okay, mental health is just as important as physical health. Looking at wealth, we have stepping into power. It says you are strong beyond measure. That's what I was saying earlier. I totally believe in that. This person reminds me a lot of the Hermit. I mention that because the Hermit carries a lantern in which the star exists. So for some of you, this is about the very last message, which was finding a way to stand out, which is sort of the antithesis of the Hermit, or comes after you've gone through that stage of self-discovery. This being in your wealth, which would be career, self-confidence, and development. Are you ready now to reveal? Are you ready to take that cloak off and show your light? Because if you are, you already have some people behind you. See, that's like the Eight of Wands, which again, normally would be Six of Wands, but it's a different illustration here. So you have followers, you have people that are ready. Are you prepared? Are you clear enough on your vision to lead them? And I do think we're getting some questions around leadership. Do you like who's leading you? Do you want more autonomy? Depending on where you fall in that sort of answer, that's going to help you figure out what's next. So for some of you, it might be, I'm ready for more of a management position, or I want to run my own company, or I'm tired of working for all these other people. I want to be in more of a team environment where it's more of a flat organization. If this is a family situation and you're the patriarch or matriarch, the same thing is going on here, which is like everyone needs to kind of help me. I can't do it all. So because you are that leader, ostensibly, then you can pull these people in and motivate them. If you're one of the pack, I would say it's about keeping everyone up, being part of that community. If I look just at the cards here, I really like that we have the Queen of Pentacles at the center. And then we have an Eight of Pentacles, which is an investment and a return card. These are really good. These are really good cards. And we have the Eight of Wands in the crowning position. So to me, that is normal definition of the Eight of Wands is a lot, abundance, a lot of things going on in your life. Eight of Pentacles, learning, expanding, taking your lessons and being able to capitalize on them with the Eight of Wands. The Fool is a risk card. And the Star card is sometimes putting your name out there, putting your name on your project, on who you are, what you're doing, on the name of your restaurant if you're a chef. So put your name out there if you want to. I think be proud about what you're doing. I don't really think you have a negative card in the whole spread. That doesn't happen all the time. You just have cards that could hold you back. So don't let your mouth or your actions get in the way. That's the only thing that I'm seeing. Otherwise, I see a lot of potential growth. Also, don't be too closed off. The King of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Wands in reverse. I don't know why I'm clapping here, but those two cards can basically say, there's only one way to do it and it's my way, or I don't want to listen to what you have to say. So turn that around and think, I feel really confident about what I want to do, but I'm always open to a better way. Let me hear you out. What's on your mind? That's more powerful. Looking at love and relationships, which can be both romantic and also just personal relationships in your life. Love yourself first. That's what I say a lot. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Isn't that true? I mean, it's really difficult to be around people sometimes where either they have to ask you all the time, well, wait, what were you saying? Are you mad at me? Like there's that sense of everything is about them, or they take something personally that doesn't need to be taken personally. I operate in this particular frequency where I think that I assume the best until I'm proven otherwise. So sometimes I'm surprised when I meet someone who is internalizing or making everything personal. This is where you want to communicate it and just keep open communication. If something happens like this, treat them with the same self-respect that you have. Say, I really respect you. What's going on? This isn't like us. And you can find a way to neutralize it. It's usually a misunderstanding. But in this particular situation, if we really look at the card, loving yourself first, I would say, don't put yourself second just to get the love and affection of someone else. Don't feel that you have to edit who you are because the star is upright. You can't dim your light. You can't mute your voice. You have something that you have to do on this planet. And I feel like you're being called this month to step into that light, into that power. So love yourself, embrace this energy, and great things will happen. And then really embrace that heartfelt energy as we look here at your destiny card. I'll talk more about this in a second. But I feel like loving yourself will help other people come in that also love themselves, but not like, it's not narcissistic. I have to kind of like explain how this works. When you aren't needing validation from others, it's fun to be around you because there's no sense of overcompensation. I think that's really what this card is getting at. There's a sense of ease because you know who you are and you're just hanging out with someone because you like who they are too. And that sense of there's no sort of strings attached. That's really what we're getting, unconditional love of yourself and others. Just solely looking at the cards, the fact that the star came in can indicate that some of you are at a place where if you are in a relationship, it's a deep soul connection. When I get a Six of Cups or even a Six of Swords, it's showing like a past life or a past connection because usually there's a ghost in the ship. We don't see it in this one, but a lot of times you'll see a figure that's kind of outlined or misty. So it can be a past life connection, really deep connection. But the interesting thing this life is choose to be better, choose to do something different, because we have the star and the Fool. So there's a renewal, a sense of fun, and something that's lighter and brighter and easier. I like the star. It's my favorite card, but sometimes there can be, it can be overpowering. So part of the reason we come into this life with amnesia is so that we are not burdened by all of both the accomplishments and also the failures of the past life. So just kind of get out there. We have the Queen of Pentacles energy here. So she's come up a couple of times at the center. It's really interesting. A lot of earth energy coming through this month. So ground yourself, and you may be pulling in grounded individuals. That's the main energy that I'm getting for you. So nothing bad about this. The only thing that I see is possibly a defensive energy. We have the King of Wands here also. And this could be more in the future for you because she's showing up front and center. She's right in kind of like the presenting energy. So I feel like resolving whatever's with that relationship first is most important. And in many ways, I feel like this one's easier. It's just about not kind of getting into an argument with the person. This other person is a little bit harder to deal with because they have a very clear idea of what's possible. Feels like you are more open, or one of you is challenging another with like book knowledge versus that this feels right. So this month, one of them, it's just about like not talking too much, not getting in the way. The other one, it's about opening up your mind to different things. So I feel like that's the challenge in key relationships this month is sort of, where's the communication? It's not. We're not getting enough swords here. We have an Ace of Wands, but not an Ace of Swords. So I feel like the way to solve this is to talk it out, which is what I talked about in the channel message. Finally, follow your heart. Oddly enough, this really should be green, not red, because this is root chakra color. So I'm gonna infer some additional meanings because of that. This has to do with feeling safe, sometimes kind of putting a stake in the ground and feeling like you have to get overly protective. And we really want to bring it into the green energy of the heart, which is abundant, which is loving, which is kind, which is unconditional. So some of the lower frequencies, even moving into the second and third chakras, which is sexual and then also power-based. This is not where you want to be focusing the heart energy. You could heal those places, but that's not what I would kind of normally associate with the heart's space. So I would say this month, practice grounding. I've been reading with this stone by me this month as well. So if you feel like you need to get a better understanding of who you are, you can meditate with a darker stone like this. You can wear a piece of jewelry that helps keep that darker energy on you to kind of help ground you if that's something that you want to do. And I think that it's important for you to kind of figure out who you are in the equation. Like, where do I stand? What is this about? So spend a little bit of time clarifying that and then open yourself up. Once you know who you are, you're not going to be threatened by who someone else is. All right, let's do the quick review. I want to be mindful of time, make sure that we have enough time for the soul path and making sure that we can look at past, present, and future and meditate. All right, let me pull the cards out. I was good about stacking all of these. So this month, your power exists within thoughts and dreams. They are magic. They help you. They help all of us connect with our inner alchemist, imbuing hope and also possibilities in your life. You want to carry this with you always, as if it's a chess piece or as if it's some sort of a magical talisman with which you can create and also affect things around you. The universe is awaiting your next step, your next move. Remember, you are the chess, I would say, master in this case. You're going to be able to you're the one that's making all of these moves. You just don't want to be passive, though. And if you stop working on it, the reverse is true. Your dreams, if not fed, will kind of like starve the opportunities in your life. So feed those dreams, live and breathe that magic. Hold it with you like the torch that we see with the hermit. Be mindful of any sensitive conversations that you're having this month. Just assume that everything will get back to the source. Doing so is going to avoid a lot of trouble in your life. Instead, be direct, be constructive in all communication. Avoid putting tests out there for others. It's better just to talk about what you want. No ultimatums unless you're willing to call your own bluff. Use the Beatles song. We can work it out. Google it. It's a good song if you're younger. And go with that sort of positive energy as you go into the conversation. If you need to leave, get closure, but do so in a really positive way, which it just feels like you express some appreciation and close the door without slamming it, so to speak. All right. Prepare for all meetings and conversations, valuing everybody's time, knowing that you never know how this is going to factor out. Always give 100% if you can. Because down the road, this could really be something important. You never know when you're going to run across this person again, or how you might take some of those skills and use them to your benefit. Find a way to stand out, be the star that we see here. This is your time to do that. And you want to really continue to Be persistent with your goals. Be authentic. Be persistent. Go after what you want. That's why the hunter came through. And track down those fears and desires and look them right in the eye. This is like looking into the moon card and saying, I'm not afraid of you. I want to understand you. Thank you for the lessons you taught me. We'll go to the center. Balance is your key to happiness and to healthfulness, I would say, or healthiness this month. Balance out your emotions. Try not to say too much or do too much without thinking first. For some of you, it feels like you're overdue to make a decision because we have what I would see as parting of the ways or embarking on a journey. And the journey is definitely going to happen over the next couple of months here. The question is how quickly, do you want to move into this? We have the 8 of Wands here, which could also be kind of interpreted as 2 months' time. So you maybe have a 2-month cycle that you're working through. This pole star card or the star card is just saying, be yourself, be authentic, and walk that walk. And you're going to be supported as long as you're following your heart and your soul. Get outside too and realize no matter where you're at on the journey, I so love looking at these 2 cards face to face here or side by side because we see someone at different parts of the journey. Be patient with other people that might be just starting out or might be way ahead of you. Be happy for friends that are successful. Be patient with yourself if you just started out. Nobody is kind of like cheating another person of an opportunity. You're just at different roads. You're on different paths. What do you want? Are you ready? How clear are you? How grounded are you? And that's what we were really talking about when we looked at the heart card. I see that and I see someone that needs to ground a little bit. So ground yourself and see if that doesn't help. Could be a matter of you going back and doing something that you need or want to do. Could be going back to school. It could be learning about yourself. It could be researching. All of these things are intrinsic to the 8 of Pentacles. The fact that I'm seeing the Queen and the 8 of Pentacles is telling me a lot of positivity with resources and money. Just don't get in your headspace too much. King of Wands and Ace of Wands, both reversed. They can be way too way too closed-minded. You want to open things up this month. We talked at great length about balance already. And the only other thing that I'm looking at here with the cards here is to make sure that you're getting out a little bit, stretching, getting out in nature, and dealing with emotional stress that might be coming into your life. With wealth, it's about maybe no longer blending in. If you have been an administrative assistant your whole life, this is about stepping into the next level and shining. You've been helping, holding up other people. Now's your chance. Or if you do that, maybe it's about asking for more money or more support or more time off. There's nothing, you know what you want to do. I'm not trying to pull you off a path, but we do see more light. So visibility is a part of that. With relationships, love yourself unconditionally, love others unconditionally, respect them and respect yourself. And that's going to heal everything that we see here. If you do that, there's really no other piece of advice I would have. We have 2 very different personalities here. We have a grounded energy that seems to be a little bit triggered emotionally. We have a very good leadership and demonstrative energy that also seems to be a little self-involved. Both energies, I think this month, if you're in a relationship, looking for a relationship or dealing with problems around you, it has to do with sort of diffusing and communicating, not walking out, not storming out, not walking away. 2 really big personalities that might be wanting to go their separate ways. If you're going to do that, just don't leave any extra baggage behind you. Finally, follow your heart. But before you can get into the heart, you have to deal with issues of feeling safety or territorial. You have to deal with desires, sexuality, sensuality, expression, creativity, and then you need to deal with power. All of that will bring you into the green heart space, which is lacking in that card. All right. Let's get into the fun stuff now. We're going to look at past, present, and future, and then we're going to meditate. So as we look at past influences here, I want to look at this. I really love the energy of the 6 of Swords, the Star, and the Fool. What can we do to get you ready to take the leap of faith? That's really what I see with those 3. And it's just a matter of figuring out kind of like when to go for it, when to pull the trigger, when to say something. So we have 5 of Cups. Finally, we have something a little bit different. We didn't get enough swords. We didn't get enough cups here. So 5 of Cups, the card is reversed, but this is a beautiful illustration for this. Usually the 5 of Cups is focusing on things that may not have worked quite right. Or, you have this choice between sort of loss and opportunity. With this one, we kind of see a cosmic dance, and it's the positivity that we see with this person. The word is actually ecstasy. So if you can kind of pull yourself into that higher energy And then we see sort of like a magic circle that she's created there. I want you to realize you can create something better from both disappointments and accomplishments. That's what reincarnation is about. That's what this whole journey has been about so far. So yeah, this is the key to making things work for you. So the card is reversed. When this happens, notice how the pentagram is in the opposite direction. It's not pointing towards spirit. It's pointing towards your ego. It's pointing towards lower frequencies. So we want to elevate it into the ecstatic, into the positive, into the cosmic, into the celestial. This is normally why I work with a 6-pointed star instead of a 5-pointed, because it has that sort of binary energy with it. So for you, put the direction towards the star, right? When we're looking at this, go towards the divine. And the reason that this is pointing towards ego, and that's why it came through here, I saw it in this. The only way you're going to heal your heart, though, is to go into the questions. What is triggering me? Do I not feel safe? Do I not feel supported? Is somebody taking away my power? Am I able to express myself sexually, creatively, energetically? What's holding you back a little bit? Something seems to be. Once you, whether it's a personal block or environmental, or it's in your relationship, that's what's going to help. By the way, I see a question about the deck. It's Wildwood. You can go to my website and there'll be a link there under decks that I use. All right, let's look at the present. And as I look at the present, it's about balancing your emotions, because we have the balance card and the Queen of Pentacles. And then also taking that leap of faith, still getting you into feeling like you can do it. Because what I see here is maybe that you just need to focus on what's possible, and also focusing on the positive. So how can we get you into that energetic state? Okay, so now we have an upright Queen of Wands. Notice how her ears are really big because we have a hair here. And so I would say listen. Listen, absorb. That was a message yesterday when I was talking to Libra, that truths are revealed. And since your signs are right by each other, some of you might be on the cusp. It's really important to listen, and this is how you can keep an open mind. Also, when I look at rabbits in general, sometimes they move too quickly, right? Something that seems like it's scary isn't, but their sort of instinct tells them to run or to hide. So don't run, don't hide, move slowly, listen. Obviously, take care of yourself. Those instincts serve them well, but it is important to move forward one step at a time. You don't have to run. Neither of these people are running. They're all taking their time, okay? So maybe this one's skipping a little bit, but take your time, walk, and start to allow the truth to be revealed. And I think that's the main thing that I get with this is listen, but don't listen to everyone and everything, and don't get in your head too much. We've got too many wands this month, and sometimes that can kind of be too much up there. So I need you to start to just take action and one step at a time. All right, for the future state, I want to get you into actually being the hunter, basically. We have the wand there and the bow, but it's not really being activated. So how can we pull that and allow you to find your power? We have the Six of Cups. It's a reunion card, much like the Six of Swords. What I like about this for some of you is you're going to get a second chance. Did you fail at something before? Did you not get accepted for a job, or did someone reject you in a relationship, or did you try something and it didn't work out? This is a good time to retry it. This time around, you get to rewrite it, or you get to go down a different path. Because again, maybe you're just deciding to go your separate way. But this time I see some success and I see some happiness. Also, this is you connecting with a really high energy. Six of Cups would be something, if you're bringing in new love in your life, for instance, if you're looking for that, or you're looking to rekindle a flame, this is really about going back to that feeling that you probably haven't felt since you were a kid, because this has a sort of childlike energy, as does the Fool, where you basically are just feeling like this is easy again, this is fun. So there should be a sense of ease in the relationships and the opportunities that are coming through this month. There could be a child for some of you, because I'm getting a lot of baby energy. You could also be releasing something to the world. because both of them symbolically come through as that. And also the Queen of Pentacles is a motherhood card. So this is a good time to release, okay? One way, shape, or form. So if you have something that you need to get off your chest, let it go. If you have something you want to share with the world, share it. If you want to step into a new way of being, step into that. And if you want to start a family, start a family. This is a good time for all of those different things. And because we're ahead of the retrograde cycle, there's a lot of positive energy that's helping you on that too. And if you resolve this before that, which is mid-October, by the way, then you're going to just be hopefully sailing through. That's my goal. We've had enough struggle this year, right? Like enough is enough. We're all ready for it to be a little easier. To that end, let's get ready for the meditation. But before we do that, and the sound bath as well, before we do that, I'd love for you to hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button. We're going to integrate now and help you. I think I want to help you with some of the lower chakra energies because we saw the heart fire, but the wrong color is there. So for many of you, that means that there is a feeling of needing to step into your power. And then I want to use the energy of the North Star to guide you. We're going to go through the forest. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to see our light. We're going to shine in this forest, and it's going to be a magical experience. So we'll walk through and we'll come out to the other side and see what's waiting for you, okay? So that'll be our meditation here. Let me just get my singing bowl set up. Please get into a comfortably seated position. The meditation, it'll be about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap up. So I hope you can stick around. And thank you for showing up today. It's great to see you. All right. So get into that comfortably seated position. Close your eyes. And I just want you to take a quick sort of stock of what your body feels like energetically. Are you holding on to any tension in your shoulders? If you are, you can kind of give yourself a gentle massage. You can also allow your neck to gently move from left to right if it's really stiff. If you have a little more flexibility, you can gently roll it in one direction and then reverse. It's not about speed. It's not about flexibility. It's just about kind of unwinding things. Once you're relaxed, you can sit back in your chair or lay down on the couch. And I just want you to feel as if you are kind of laying down on the forest floor for a second. You feel this soft grass underneath you, almost like a nice cushion. You're looking up at the constellations above you and focusing in until you see one bright star outshining the rest. It has a different color. It has a different frequency. It's reminding you that each and every star holds its own light, and reminding you also that you are part of that universe, part of that energy. You have the same star stuff running through your veins as everything out in the universe. So as you look up at that star, I want you to kind of connect with your ancient self, connect with the forest energy as well. You were lacking green in the heart space. So I want you to feel the love and the support from the trees, which are reaching up and touching the stars, the grass, which is gently touching each and every cell on your body, and the earth itself, Mother Earth beneath you, who is basically giving you a nice warm embrace and saying, I love you, you are supported. Are you ready to begin your journey? And I hope the emphatic rhetorical question is answered yes by you. And if you are, I want you to gently get on your feet in the meditation, not in real life, but in the meditation, gently get up. And you can even feel that if you want to, that there's like a tree that pushes you up, like you're in this sort of living forest. And you're allowed now to start walking down this beautiful path in front of you. Look at the star above you and allow this to lead the way. Notice that as you are starting to walk, that your body is shining with starlight. That just like the fireflies, just like the sort of moon and the stars, you have the same energy pulsing through your body. Your skin no longer looks like skin. It looks like it's some sort of a luminous planet or a luminous star in the sky shining. I want you to walk down this path now, looking through the forest. There's nothing to scare you anymore. You see past the shadows. You see the trees are just trees. You see beyond your own fears. And as you look down the path, you also see another luminous object at the other end. For each of you, that's going to be something different. It could be a hope, it could be a dream, it could be a person. I want you to, through your own confidence in yourself and your own comfort in who you are and what you're trying to do, I want you to feel like your energy is attracting that and vice versa. And you're going to meet in the middle and see where that takes you. At this point, I'm going to begin playing the sound bath here, singing bowl. So you can gently turn the volume down if you're on headphones. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy. Take a deep breath. Feel that you are now connected to this vision that you held, this dream. You are the alchemist, you are the magician, you are the conjurer, whatever you want to consider yourself, but you have magic within your thoughts, within your dreams, within your heart, which is now shining with a brilliant shade of green, no longer in that kind of red energy that we were seeing in the card earlier. Each and every energetic point in your body is spinning, is bright. You yourself are shining with the luminosity of the star above you, which was an echo of who you were in a past life. What we see in the sky is actually the past. This is the present, and what you're calling forth but in front of you is the future. So you actually are in this sort of fluid connection of time, past, present, and future. Just make a decision that you always have been, you always will be, working towards that greater good, that higher light, and whatever it is that you're creating, it's beautiful and it's worth the journey. Take your hands, bring them together. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Make a promise to yourself to work hard, to cherish yourself, to cherish your dreams. Take a deep breath. Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. Definitely was some magical messages that came through for your sign. I really felt like all of the cards were positive, were auspicious, were pointing you in the right direction. And I think it's really just about a decision to embrace your power and go after what you want to go after. Only you can do it. Okay. I want to thank everybody who was kind enough to show some support. I saw super stickers and super chats going on when we were talking. You can do that now while we're wrapping up here. But if you were kind enough to give back, I will thank you once this is on replay in one of the pinned comments. I'll make sure to just express a little gratitude. I'm going to mention a bunch of things. They're all on my website, so I want to give you the address first. It's just nicholasashbaugh.com, which is my name. And from this space, it's easy to follow me on social media. I've linked everything up, so I'd love for you to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Patreon. I'm really active on the top three, obviously. On Instagram, I will post reminders of what I'm doing that day, if I'm reading live, and also a link. And then I also put schedule reminders there, and I do recaps of all the channeled messages later in the day. Same thing on Facebook. On YouTube, if you go to the community tab, I'll also post the sticky, well, they're not stickies, they're 3x5s, but 3x5 notes that I've been working with. And it's just a good way to kind of get some additional information after the reading and figure out my schedule, because I know sometimes it can be hard to track all the dates. Of course, if you can like and subscribe here on YouTube, you'll also get reminders, and that just helps with the channel. My username on all of these is just my name, @NicholasAshbaugh. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. So if you're following someone else, it's not me, @NicholasAshbaugh. On Twitter, I'm just Ashbaugh because they have a character limit there. Again, thumbs up and subscribing helps a lot. The bell will help you get emails when I'm live. I also have a PayPal, which you can get through on my website. It's just at Nicholas Ashbaugh as well, paypal.me. And if you want to give back in a continual way, you can do that through Patreon or by clicking the join button here. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up today. Remember to stay in that positive, ecstatic energy. Remember to listen, but don't be afraid of everything that's going on. You have to stand strong. You don't want to be sort of pushed off that path. And if something comes around a second time, this is your chance for success. This is your chance to integrate all those lessons that you had in the past and successfully sort of be in your power. Okay. Much love and light. I'm going to be seeing clients the next couple of days, but I will be back later this week on Thursday and Friday. So check out my website for more information. In the meantime, lots of love and light. Have a great week, everybody. And thanks for spending some time with me today. Thanks again to my moderators, Ryan and Maria, for helping out as well. All right. See you all soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.